Okay, everybody, so let's dump the mask and get serious. Okay, that was really, really fun. Hope everybody's doing really well out there. I'm doing great. Happy that it's Halloween. And of course, today we're presenting The Invisible Monster from our new album, A View from the Top of the World. I'm all programmed up and ready to tour, although that's going to have to wait for February. Some of you, I read some comments, think you're going to a show very soon, but that round of shows was postponed. So in case you are one of those people that thinks you're going out to a venue tonight to see Dream Theater, check again. That's my advice to you. So yeah, welcome to my studio. I've got my new panels up, which you can see half of over there. They light up. They're amazing, by Psy Acoustics. They're awesome. I'll be showing you more of those as we go. They can go in all different colors. There's a remote app for them. They make the room sound amazing. Really, really cool stuff. And everything is pretty dialed in. And I'm sitting here with my Kronos, and I have Invisible Monster program for you. And I want to take you guys through it. Today is about kind of looking at the way that I program sounds and the way that this song came together, because this song is pretty cool. And I had a lot of fun with programming it. So why don't we dive in? Starts with the guitar, so I don't play, so that was a really easy sound to program. But now I will play the first patch that I perform. All right, so we're going to stop there because I want to take all you guys through the patches. And on Patreon, if you join me there, one of the cool things about that is you'll be able to ask me questions as well, which is one of the features of Patreon. If you guys have questions right now and you're texting away immediately, I can't answer them because, first of all, I'm in front of the Kronos keyboard. So I'd love to hear from you, but you really need to be part of the Patreon to do that. So yeah, check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like my inner circle, and it's awesome. But I'm happy that you guys are here with me, so I could even play for you the keyboard sounds alone to Invisible Monster, because you're certainly not going to hear that when the band is playing. It'll be mixed in, and I'm sure it'll sound good because our sound engineer Ace is awesome. But you won't hear it individual and all laid out like that. So let's take a look at the first sound that I play, which is this one. It's a big sound. The melody comes out. It's very, got a lot of strings in it, but it also has some other elements that actually make this thing tick. So let's take a look at it. Now, I bet you didn't know that there was some really awesome French horns in there. So as I play all the notes, check out which part actually comes out on the horns. Right? So what I do a lot of times is I'll put a part, like literally in my thumb, because when I'm tracking this stuff in the studio, I'm doing it all separate, and that's and that's a different thing. And then in my left hand, it's like it's kind of like an EP sound, an electric piano sound. It's a little bit different. I needed it to fit in with the strings in a way that would really work. And then in the top part of the keyboard, I've got all my strings, and I use a variety of strings. So what ends up happening is I put all my sounds into the Kronos, no matter what software I use. I basically load the Kronos up with everything that I need to do the job. So you can hear the strings. That's from the amazing Vienna Symphonic Library. This is a Kronos patch, an internal Kronos sound. You put those together, and you add one other layer of strings. And so I actually have the octave up in the strings as well. So here's the octave up. And then to round it out, I've got another internal Kronos sound. So it's a combination of what I brought into the Kronos, because the Kronos lets you do sampling and all that kind of stuff, and also the sounds that exist in the Kronos to begin with. So there's also another electric piano sound, which kind of like gives it a little bit of punch. So as I'm playing, that's there as well, because I don't just want the airiness of the strings. I want to have some attack. So I end up doing a lot of layering to create this kind of recipe. And altogether, it kind of creates this. So you can kind of see what's going on. Now what's really interesting is when I'm programming these sounds, I'm basically going like back-to-back patches. So, and because I do that, I'm switching whenever there's a new part. So like at the end of this part, there's a last note that happens, but the sound changes. So I do some little tricks there. I go, and then I switch sounds, and it's actually on those notes, it's the same sound as previous, but these notes are assigned to a slider. So they'll fade out. Meanwhile, I've got this lovely little bell thing happening, but that string thing is still on this slider. So a lot of times I'll use that trick. Well, I'll switch patches, but then I'll program the new patch so it has a little bit of like the last note of the old patch. And it's all a matter of splitting and layering the keyboard to do that and making assignments to the slider, which is running, if you're curious, MIDI expression, which is controller 11. So the Kronos makes it very easy to decide which parts out of 16 parts are actually going to be assigned to allow the continuous controller to work or not. Anyway, so that's pretty detailed, and I'll get more into it probably with the patrons and answer any questions about it as well. But I just wanted to give you guys a little idea of what's going on. So from there, after I do that lovely bell sound, then we're into the verse, and then I'm playing something like this. So the piano does a lot of carrying of the song. So I'm going to move on to my patrons and the Patreon only. That website is right in front of you if you want to check it out. Please do. Love to have you there. It's a great way to communicate with me. I always tell people, because I constantly get messages from everywhere and anywhere, and it's wonderful, and I appreciate all that, but I can't possibly see and respond to all of it. But I do make a point to respond to every one of my patrons, and that's a great thing about it, because it helps me communicate with the people, which I like to do, and also be the social person that I am and do these kind of things. So, all right, friends, so great to see you on YouTube and Facebook, and now we are going to move on to Patreon. Okay, we'll make the switch right now. And I'm going to grab my glasses and we'll be right back.